Why did we go over linear inequalities? Because you're going to be solving them now, just like equations that you did last week. There's only two different rules. Number one, if you swap the left-hand side and the right-hand side, you need to flip the inequality. Was that what you were asked to do just before in part 2? You were flipping the direction. Step 2, the only other difference between what you were doing last week and when it's an inequality, if you multiply or divide both sides by a negative number, you also flip the inequality. So in inequalities, you are doing the exact same thing that you did last week, right? But if you swap the left-hand side and right-hand side, you need to flip the inequality. If you multiply, divide both sides by a negative number, you must flip the inequality. I do know how to speak English, but that's an error. You must also, my assumption is that I wanted to say you must also flip the inequality. Apologies, that correction is now on YouTube. So hopefully this is an example where you can see maths is like any of your languages. Did we go over the steps to solve an equation last week? Yep, identify the unknown, use opposite operations on both sides. This is the same, except for an equal sign is the same both sides. Here, there's a direction that's important. So you help me. You practiced it all week and hopefully the weekend. If I wanted to solve a take 4 is greater than 5. My tip to you, pretend this is an equal sign. Just ignore it completely until the end. And then flip it according to the rules after. What is the opposite of taking 4 from something? Add 4. So I'm going to add 4 to both sides. A, take 4 in a brick, add 4. I'm just going to ignore the inequality. I'm just going to rewrite it. 5 plus 4. Negative 4 plus 4 is going to be nothing. So A greater than 9. Did I choose to flip the left-hand or right-hand side at all? No. Did I times or divide by a negative number? So I don't need to flip it. Just leave it alone. Give some time. A couple of moments to get that, please. As you get more confident and practiced, you do not have to write this step with the bricks. I showed you it as an option because I could. Does that allow me to visualize the thinking? But as you get more confident, I don't need that, okay? It's up to you. It's a time save if you want, okay? Also, let's check back and see if it makes sense. If I've said that A must be greater than 9, does that agree with the original scenario? Is 9 take 4 going to be greater than 5? Yeah. If this letter is larger than 9, so 9.01, 9.0001, anything slightly larger than 9, take 4, is that going to be greater than 5? Yes, it will. Okay. This one here, what is the 3 doing to B? Timesing, so what's the opposite of timesing by 3? Divide, so 3B over 3, less than or equal to 9 over 3, cancels out B. Have I done anything? Have I initiated anything that requires me to flip the inequality? No, so leave it, same direction. B must be less than or equal to 3. Which makes sense because 3 times by 3, do you agree, is equal to 9? Anything less than 3 is going to be less than 9, which agrees with that. Last one, and then my voice will be lost to the ages. I want x by itself. In reverse bed mass order, I need to get rid of everything around it. So there's an addition here. There's a plus 4. What's the opposite of adding 4 to something? Taking 4. So I've got negative 2x is greater than 4. I didn't change the direction because taking 4 from both sides doesn't require that. What's the negative 2 doing to x? Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're right. Good. Thank you. 0 take 4. I like that. You got me. If I was anyone else, I'd be like, oh, I was just testing you. Yeah. What's the negative 2 doing to x? Timesing. What's the opposite of that? Dividing. But, hold up. Wait a minute. What do? Am I trying to times or divide by a negative number on both sides? So what do I need to do with the inequality sign? Flip it, so x is going to be less than or equal to. Be careful of your negatives. If I divide a negative by a negative, what's the answer going to be? Positive 2. X must be less than 2 for that to be a true statement. Which I think you can see from the question makes sense. Because do you agree, let's say this was 1.999999. Slightly smaller than 2. Do you agree that 4, take away 2 lots of something that's slightly smaller than 2, will be greater than 0? Going to be a little bit greater than 0. Okay? So if we didn't flip it, the answer would be wrong.